A retired police officer has discovered a 1,000-year-old Viking treasure hoard on the Isle of Man. The discovery was made by Kath Giles, whilst metal detecting on private land in December 2020. Only now have details of the find been published and declared treasure by the Isle of Man Coroner of Inquests. Kath Giles said, "I knew I had found something very special when I moved the soil away from one of the terminals of the brooch, but then I found parts of the pin, the hoop and underneath, the gorgeous gold armoring. I knew straight away that it was a significant and exciting find. I'm so thrilled to have found artifacts that are not only so important, but so beautiful." The hoard consists of a gold arm ring, a massive silver brooch, at least one silver armband, and other associated finds that date from around AD 950. During this period, the Isle of Man was under the rule of the Scandinavian kings of Dublin, first serving as a base for trade, before being permanently settled. The ring is made from plated rods of gold and has been described by Alison Fox, curator for archaeology at the Manx National Heritage, as a rare find. Due to the scarcity of gold during the Viking period, it would be the equivalent in contemporary value to 900 silver coins. The silver brooch has intricate designs on the pin and terminals, and is known as a thistle brooch of ball type. Brooches of this type group would have been worn at the shoulder to hold heavy clothing such as a cloak in place, with the discovery being the largest known example. Alison Fox explained that, "The armring, brooch and cut armband are all high-status personal ornaments and represent a large amount of accumulated wealth. Finding just one of these items would be of significance. The fact that all were found together, associated with one single deposition event, suggests that whoever buried them was extremely wealthy and probably felt immediately and acutely threatened." The wreck of a German steamship sunk at the end of World War II has been found by divers, and the crates on board the submerged vessel could hold a prized treasure, the precious furnishings of the lost 18th-century amber room, which German soldiers looted from a Russian royal palace. The shipwreck was found north of the Polish seaside town of Ustka, at a depth of 290 feet, 88 meters, after more than a year of searching for it on the floor of the Baltic Sea, said Tomasz Stakura, who led the discovery. Stakura is one of the founders of the Baltic Tech Dive team. By a curious coincidence, the wrecked ship has the same name Karlsruhe as a World War II German warship found off Norway last month, which was sunk in 1940. Both ships were named after a city in Germany. On April 12, the Karlsruhe became the last German ship to leave Königsberg, now Kaliningrad in Russia. Other parts of East Prussia became parts of Lithuania and Poland after the war. The steamer headed west, but it was sunk by Soviet warplanes the next day. Some historians have long suspected that the many crates loaded onto the ship held what's left of the famous Amber Room, an ornately decorated chamber of a Russian palace looted by the Germans and then lost during World War II, Stakura told Live Science in an email. Stakura said the wreck is relatively intact, and that they've seen military vehicles and several crates on board, but the divers can't tell whether any of the crates hold the looted remains of the lost Amber Room. A Neolithic passage tomb in the Boyne Valley, County Meath in Ireland, was discovered in 1699 AD and became a tourist attraction long before it was excavated and restored from 1962 AD to 1975 AD by the late Professor Michael J. O'Kelly, Professor of Archaeology at University College Cork. Most tombs are discovered underground, often by accident, but Newgrange was already well known. According to Ancient.eu, Newgrange was built long before Stonehenge, the Mycenaean culture of ancient Greece, and the pyramids in Giza. The construction took place about 3200 BC, and is part of one of the most important megalithic complexes in Europe. Two other ancient structures are also present, Noath and Douth, as well as 37 burials. Newgrange is 249 feet across and 39 feet high and covers about an acre of land. Upon entrance to the tomb, one would find a 62-foot passageway that leads to a large central chamber with three smaller chambers in the walls corresponding to three directions, north, west and south. O'Kelly believed it was not just a burial chamber, but a monument because an opening in the roof coincides exactly with the winter solstice. When the rock covering the hole is removed, the entire chamber and passageway are brightly illuminated during the sunrise of December 21st. The base is surrounded by 97 granite and quartz stones, making a curb. The entrance stone is highly decorated with swirls, circles, chevrons, and other megalithic art symbols, according to Newgrange.com. The Stone Age peoples who built the mound seem to have been skilled artisans in a well-ordered society who used stone, antler, or bone for tools. The stones just for the curb would have weighed 200,000 tons, leading researchers to believe they were brought by boat up the River Boyne. The builders took special care to ensure the monument would remain dry by packing sand from the river and putty made from burnt soil into the joints of the roof stones. They also cut grooves into the roof slabs to channel the water away from the structure, which has remained dry to this day. O'Kelly relates the story of finding the mound in his work, Newgrange, Archaeology, Art and Legend. The landowner in 1699 AD, Charles Campbell, was looking for stones. In a large mound on his property he found the type of stones he was looking for, and as they were carted away the entrance to the tomb appeared. Welsh scholar and antiquary, Edward Lhwyd, just happened to be in Ireland, and upon learning of the discovery he rushed to Newgrange. He took notes, and of the letters he wrote 4 of them survive. After that, Sir Thomas Molyneux of the University of Dublin researched the cave, as they called it, and after his information was released, more researchers than ever were attracted to the mound who, unfortunately, helped themselves to some of the artifacts inside. None of these people, however, believed the monument was created by the crude and barbarian natives of Ireland. Because of this, many believed it had been built by Vikings or Egyptians. In the 19th century, scholar John O'Donovan and artist George Petrie investigated the mound and produced a much more reasonable account. In 1882 AD the monument was transferred to the care of the government of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland under the Ancient Monuments Protection Act, and conservation began. In 1993 AD Newgrange was designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, and is one of the most famous Neolithic burial sites in the world. Over 200,000 tourists visit Newgrange every year, and a lottery is held to select those who wish to participate in the sunrise observance at the winter solstice. After the Celts invaded Ireland about the 3rd century BC, the monument was largely forgotten during the suppression of Gaelic culture by the English. After the Norman conquest of 1169 AD, the English increased their suppression, until the Irish finally rebelled in the early 20th century, culminating in the newly created Republic of Ireland in the 1920s. Romanian police specializing in heritage crimes on February 7 recovered a medieval helmet of Viking origin that disappeared a decade ago, and which they called unique in Romania and very rare in the rest of Europe, in an announcement issued on Friday. A Romanian expert in historical illustration, Radu Altian, said the helmet dated from the 11th century. It was first discovered in 2010 during refurbishment work on the River Siret, in northeast Romania, but it was never handed over to the State Preservation Services, and the authorities lost track of it. The investigation that led to the recovery of the precious item started in December 2020, when police officers got information about its whereabouts. The helmet can be dated to between the 11th and the 13th centuries and represents a type of helmet most often found in the Baltics and Kiev Rus, the police said, offering no additional information on how the helmet disappeared, or where it was kept. Archaeologists examining the ruins of the ancient town of Myra have discovered at least 50 terracotta figurines depicting humans, gods and animals. Researchers working for Akdeniz University and the Turkish state made the incredible discovery after excavating the town's once imposing 12,000-seat Roman-era theater. The excavation resulted in uncovering an even older auditorium buried away below. The archaeologists inside here stumbled upon a treasure trove of figurines estimated to date back to the Hellenistic period. Such a time frame coincides with Alexander the Great's 323 BC death and the rise of the Roman Empire. DIG leader Nevzat Sevic, an archaeologist at Akdeniz, described the ancient art discovery as an unexpected big surprise. He said, "It is as if the people of ancient Myra were resurrected and ran through the time tunnel altogether and came to our day." The statuettes, each standing only a few inches tall, include rams, horsemen, women with children, and a boy carrying fruit. Figures of deities were also found among the haul, including Leto, Artemis, Apollo, and Heracles. Mr. Sevic added a few of the figures still bear faint remnants of red, blue and pink pigments used to decorate them. The archaeologist said, the fact that the dyes on them are partially preserved shows us the color of clothes they wore in their time. As well as the terracotta figures, the researchers retrieved ceramic, bronze, lead and silver artifacts scattered around the Hellenistic theater. Mr. Sevick said, "I can say that the excavations we carried out in the Myra Ancient City Theater this summer gave one of the most important gifts of the year to Anatolian archaeology." Lying near the mouth of the Andriacus River on modern-day Turkey's southern coast, Myra was an important Mediterranean port for thousands of years.